What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overload here. We're going to be talking about Scream 7 in this video here today. So we're going to be going over the secret cast member that is supposed to be appearing in the upcoming film. Many of you have been hearing about this from myself, Jude, and a few others. One content creator, I can't remember her name, but I know she recently posted a video. I'm going to get into that during this video too. But Laurie Metcalf has discussed a potential Scream 7 return. She was asked about this by Entertainment Tonight recently, and her answer has started a fire. Of course, we know that she is Billy Loomis's mom and Sam Carpenter's grandmother. Mrs. Loomis, the ultimate surprise reveal of the franchise that hasn't been topped and never will be as far as I'm concerned. Everyone's favorite pair of crazy eyes as well. But yeah, she had an interesting answer regarding a potential return in Scream 7. Now, the ET rep, Entertainment Tonight rep, reminds her of all the dead characters to set up the question, setting up the question by reminding her of all the dead characters that are supposed to be returning in 7 before asking her. And then she's like, I would if asked. Now, the rep did say maybe there's a surprise and you can't tell us, while she was continuing to say that I would if asked. But Laurie didn't entertain that part, so good on her. However, apparently the amount of time she said I are very telling, because I guess she said I 7 times, and her body language kind of just gave it away for some people that she's trying to hide something. And just the way her eyes look in this clip. I'm not going to say Mrs. Loomis is a secret cast member, but yes, the way she looks when she's trying to think of an answer seems like a giveaway. And do remember that me and Jude have shared that the person who is the secret cast member is on the board in Scream 6. The little scene that happens between Bailey and Hayden when they're looking at the board of the Ghostface mask. Mrs. Loomis is one of the faces on that board. And earlier today in another video, I did say 7 won't be ignoring the Loomis family just because Stu is expected to get his flowers finally. I even went as far to suggest one of the 3 will appear on screen in some capacity, and how nice it would be to see Grandpa Loomis after all of these years. So how would you fit Nancy Loomis into a narrative without Sam, though, right? Because I'm sure some of you out there are like, well, they're not even talking about Sam Carpenter anymore, so why would you have Nancy Loomis in the mix? Now, while it'd be nice to see Nancy interact with her granddaughter, the exploration of motherhood in Scream 7 through Sidney Prescott is a more than perfect way to make room for Mrs. Loomis. This is the person who told Sidney she doesn't know what it is to be a mother, to raise a child, teach him, and guide him. And of course, Sidney interrupts at the end and abandon him in reference to Billy. Now, how haunting would it be for Sidney to hear that voice while searching for Tatum? There's just some poetic touches to this possibly as well. Isn't there supposed to be a scene where Sidney is literally going to have to guide Tatum to safety? I think 3C Films shared that with us, but that scene alone is going to make me think about Nancy Loomis now. So I hope she does make an appearance. I mean, she's on the board in Scream 6, so her chances are pretty high right now considering Laurie's new comments. I think this is them trying to get ahead of a giant press release that's on the way, to be honest, or at least prepare us for said press release. Remember, another creator said she was in a meeting with Paramount where they started naming the returning stars for Scream 7, but stopped at a certain name because they haven't been announced yet. So they cut the person off from saying the name, like, that hasn't been announced yet. And of course, the creator's like, well, who hasn't been announced yet? And if you look at the clip, the editing choices in the entertainment video are interesting. After Laurie is asked about returning, it cut to Sidney saying, consider it done. As in, what are you trying to say? You're saying it's already a done deal that Laurie is going to appear in Scream 7? I think Entertainment Tonight knows more than this clip has revealed. And by Friday, we could have Variety and other reputable trades confirming Laurie Metcalf's return as Mrs. Loomis in this film. Friday is supposed to be Neve Campbell's birthday, so there's a plethora of things that could happen. One of them being the confirmation that Laurie Metcalf is going to be starring in Scream 7 as Nancy Loomis one more time. Now, I prefer Sidney be put through the ringer before hearing Nancy's voice to taunt her. Don't taunt her until Act 3, so it can come off like a gut punch reminder of those words Nancy shared all those years ago at Windsor College about how ignorant Sidney is to motherhood and the pain Maureen Prescott has caused. Now, her family is potentially being ripped apart like the Loomis family was, and that's just very poetic. Regardless, do not expect anyone but Stu Macher to have a real standout role in this story when it comes to these returning dead characters. Roman, Dewey, and the potential Mrs. Loomis appearance would be glorified cameos at best. Not that they won't be impactful, but Stu is dominating the screen compared to everyone else. And may God rest his soul. I am so sad that we lost him. But craving something scary, I know for certain, as someone who talked to him about Stu all the time, he would have enjoyed what they were doing with Matthew Lillard. Some of you might not, but I know for a fact, given that Craven was someone who was a little bit more level-headed when it comes to his Stu takes. Of course, he was the self-proclaimed conductor of the Stu train, but when I spoke to him about Stu, there were things that we would kind of bounce back off of that he would say he would be fine to see, and some of those things are happening in this movie, and I know he would have loved it. The way they use Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher is not something that's disrespectful. It is not something that makes other characters look stupid, but it is done in a very competent way that gives him a chance to shine as Stu Macher all these years later. It's something that should satisfy level-headed Stuthers like craving something scary. And yeah, I know for a fact he would have loved how they use Stu Macher. If you read my community post, I do have to reiterate that as someone who is very concerned about how Sidney would be used, because that's what matters most to me, not seeing her in any old way, because I can just watch the existing movies if I really want to see Sidney Prescott that bad. But yeah, as someone who was concerned, I'm all in on this story for Sidney. I think it's handled with a lot of care and respect while being in full circle moment with motherhood, since a messy motherhood was the start of all this. And while Scream 4 seemed more interested in this idea of replacing Sidney, 7 is definitely tapping into being more of a celebration of that character, which I love, and I cannot wait to see how it's all executed when Scream 7 drops in theaters February. Now, the film, again, revealed its logo to us earlier today or yesterday by the time this is uploaded, depending on what coast you're on. And the logo got a lot of people chatting how it looks better. I'm one of those people who thinks it looks better, but hopefully on Friday we will get something else besides just a logo to coincide with Neve Campbell's birthday. But if we don't, I'm still going to predict that at some point this month we will get a cameo or we will get a teaser release. And it's possible that in the teaser, that's where they will reveal who the surprise cast member is, if it's not Mrs. Loomis. But you guys let me know what you think about all this down in the comments section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you can never miss a video. In the description, I have links to all of my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course. Let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.